Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lore Diver. Today, we are going to be getting into when lore gets a little bit weird and things don't match up the way that they should. We're hitting up Cyberpunk Red and Black Chrome. I did a review on these a while ago where I talked about how Black Chrome was the book that Cyberpunk Red very much needed. It brought back the consumerism, the labels, and all the gear, all that sort of good stuff. And some of the items in it didn't quite match up to spec. So we're going to take a look at specifically some of the firearms in this book that really made me question what was going on in terms of art design, because the write-ups are awesome, but the end results not so much. So let's check it out. So we're going to kick things off with Fazel's Dead or Alive. This is literally just a modern day shotgun that you could go out and buy at any hunting goods store today with a net launcher attached to it. That it says it has 2 rounds in it, but I'm not really sure how that works because it looks like it's a single tube with a single charge on the back. Yeah, so this thing, I don't know what's going on. Maybe they thought adding that Picatinny rail that's just sort of like on the top there was enough, but yeah, this thing is definitely like what's going on, because the write-up has it as a cheap shotgun with a 2-shot net launcher, and the art just does not match up with that very well. Midnight Arms Beast shotgun. This thing is huge. It's beefy. Apparently carries 40 rounds of shotgun ammunition in that big thing on the back. So what's going on with this, you might ask? The art looks good. This looks futuristic. It looks like it fits in cyberpunk, and it does, except for this particular weapon in the game suffers from a misunderstanding of how shotguns work, because in its description it says that your character needs to have a body of 10 in order to fire this safely. Otherwise, they will suffer a broken arm critical injury. But when you go to the actual stats of the weapon, there's no justification for it. It does the same amount of damage that a regular shotgun does, and just has a lot of ammunition for it. So that's where this one sort of falls down. The lore for the write up does not match the actual stats of the weapon itself in the wild. Coming in strong for the art not matching the write up is the Militech Mastiff SMG. This is supposed to be a submachine gun. In reality, this is a shotgun that has been mated to a modern assault rifle, and I literally mean modern. Like I wasn't able to find the exact thing, but it looks like kind of AR slash M16-ish lower that has been mated to a kind of Scar-ish upper, except for the artist wanted to make space for this shotgun. So in order to make space for the shotgun, they raised the barrel up to where the gas tube goes for the rifle, left the ejection port for some reason. So yeah, now this magazine can't feed into the rifle itself, and the shotgun is from a Franchi Spaz 12, and it's just sort of been welded on here with some ineffective iron sights. So yeah, this is the first Frankenstein monstrosity we're going to see today. There are a couple more coming up where I think like a while ago there's this whole like thing online where people were taking like different parts of different weapons and like mashing them together to create something new. And I think this is from that particular design school, because nothing about this firearm is functional, and also nothing about it is really cyberpunk. This is just 2 like modern day firearms that have been smashed together and presented to us. So what the heck? I told you that last one was the first of several Frankensteiners, and this is another one. So this is the Pursuit Security Incorporated Crowdbuster. The idea is that it's supposed to be an assault rifle with a sonic device attached to it, so you can use directed sound in order to like break up crowds, all that sort of stuff. Awesome idea, very cyberpunk. This would be like exactly the sort of thing that you'd expect to be in the hands of like a security team or the police in Night City or something like that. Except for when it came to producing the art for it, this is literally just an AR-15 rifle with a bullhorn on the bottom of it. There's nothing cyberpunk about this actual like art at all. Like concept strong, art, yeah, this ain't it. And then it just has like a set of regular headphones behind it. So like What the heck? What's going on? Breaking from those Frankenstein issues, we have the Sternmeyer M04 variable assault. So this thing is supposed to be like the result of gunsmiths getting together to design what they think is going to be the perfect um, combat weapon. And like in all honesty, like this thing almost makes it. This is really good. Like the write up for it is solid. The idea that it's sort of like quasi experimental and that they're still working the kinks out is really good. The issues that this one runs into on the technical side, where it doesn't really match up with what's being described in the descriptions, is the grenade launcher. So if you look at the grenade launcher, it's like right there, big tube on the bottom. That looks like it's pretty standard, like 30 or 40 millimeter grenade launcher. And then when you look at what the magazine for it's supposed to be, it's flat. Like that's not a round magazine. So I'm not sure how the ammo is fitting in there. Also, there's no way to get it to lift up into the grenade launcher. Not that I can figure out, unless the whole tube slides forward and you have to like turn the rifle upside down and give it a shake and try to get one of them to fall in before you close the tube up, which is super inefficient. And then the other problem, this is a nitpick of mine, and that's there's no pusher or bolt space in it. So you look back to where the magazine is because it's a bullpup rifle. There's nowhere for the bolt to go. Also, there's an ejection port, which is kind of odd because a lot of weapons in Cyberpunk are supposed to be caseless, so you wouldn't expect to see a an ejection port on there. But one's there, and there's no space for either a pusher to push the rounds into the barrel or for a bolt to like move back and forth in order to move the rounds into the barrel. And then there's no apparatus in front of it to like pull. So not really sure what happened here, but again, art not quite matching up with the description. And like, I love the Sternmeyer M04 too. I think it's cool, but yeah, just didn't quite match up. It was at this point when I was collecting up the images to do this video and talk about the things in it, where I realized that whomever did this art for Art Talsorian Games should probably give Art Talsorian Games their money back, because there's nothing cyberpunk about either of these firearms. The one on top, these are both from Centurion Essentials. The top one is a Super Chrome Glam rifle. The bottom one is a Super Chrome Javelin sniper rifle. In reality, the top one is a Scar L that has been painted or not painted silver, has been drawn with a silver finish. And the bottom one, the Javelin, is a Dragunov SVD sniper rifle that has been made chrome. These are both like modern day weapons. There's nothing cyberpunk about them, especially the Dragunov. Like the Dragunov has been around since the 1970s. No, wait, earlier. I think it's like the 60s. Anyways, it's been around forever. It is approaching its 100th anniversary in the world of cyberpunk. So just painting it silver and like trying to pass it off as this is a chromed weapon, that's not on. That's not cool. I don't even know really what's going on with this one. So the idea behind the Nova Arms Westwood is that it's a 44 Magnum with a pull-out screen that is preloaded with a ton of cop movies, so you can feel like a cop from back in the day. Very style over substance. But the reason that I have it here is, and because and I'm talking about how the art doesn't match up with the description, is number one, this is a very odd, like peculiar 44 Magnum. Like it's not drawn well. Like there's parts missing. In the sense of like the cylinder's too small, everything's compacted. Then like the pistol grip is actually leaning forwards, like it's curving. It's got almost a recurve going forwards. So not only would this be insanely uncomfortable to try to use, but also like, yeah, I don't even know. And like, if you look, it looks like the trigger is almost run. Like, I don't know what happened when this was generated, but yeah, this I don't even know where to go with. Like, it's unusable, not in the sense of like this is a useless weapon inside the game, but in that if you look at this art, I don't think anybody in their right mind is going to select it because it looks so wrong on so many levels. Okay, so we're gonna take a breath of fresh air here, and go with something that is so close to being like spot on that it hurts. It hurts. I love this one. The description of this weapon, this is the Centurion Essentials Tommy Knocker, and this is like an ego trip weapon. This is something that execs in the game of Cyberpunk Red they own it because they want a pistol that can do anything and it looks real tough and this, that, the other. I love everything about this concept. The only things that this needs to just like smash it all together and make it perfect is a nub. That's it. Just like one little nub just behind and below the trigger on the shotgun portion of this thing. Set. It'd be good to go, because as it stands right now, this would actually be impossible to fire the shotgun component safely, because there's no way to brace your hand to fire it. And if you try to fire it while holding the pistol grip, not only is it going to flip, as it says in the description, because it's going to do that even if it had a nub there, it is going to be all kinds of bad, because like the forces are going to be acting in very bad ways on you. But like, I love this thing. I love it so much. I want to have this in the game. I want to put a little nub on the bottom and put a wire stock onto it and just go out and cause problems, because it's great. And the write up for it is just chef's kiss. Like, oh, love it. It's got every element that it needed to be perfect. Okay, had to take a deep breath for this one, because this one is, I'm not kidding. This one is so egregious that I think I talked earlier about how like the artist should give the money back. This one makes me think that Art House Running Games should pursue legal action against this particular artist, because this is so trash. So this is the Techtronica Russia BMG 500. It's supposed to be a general purpose machine gun. Machine guns are great. Machine guns are fantastic in Cyberpunk, except for this one is literally a mashup of existing firearms with like two minor things. So I'm going to start at the front, work my way to the back, name all the different parts of it, and why this is just awful. So starting from the front half of this thing is an long barrel FN Minimi with the American style M249 heat shield over it. And a weird, like, it's supposed to have a water cooled barrel. So I'm guessing that little pipey dealy that's been sort of like haphazardly put on underneath the front of the barrel is supposed to be that. That is not a water cooling jacket. That's not going to cool anything. At all. And in fact, it's going to be causing problems because it looks like it's been connected up to the gas block, which is the bit that is underneath the front sight. And speaking of that, you may notice that the bipod is right up front. Now, this is the correct bipod for an FN Minimi, except for it is in the wrong place. If you look just a little bit to the right on the screen, just behind where the front sight block is, you will see that it actually has the original FN Minimi bipod still there. In fact, it is folded up in the carry position. So this firearm actually has two bipods because that was left on. And also it looks like some weirdness went on with the artist trying to understand how the sides of this worked. And also, like, this is a terrible Picatinny rail on the side. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the front part of this firearm and everything that went wrong with it. Moving back to the receiver, so that's where that little red eagle-y deal is. So this, as far as I'm able to tell, is the hybridization of a PKM and FN Minimi receiver. So it's got the Minimi sight on top, and the magazine, and the not the magazine release, the barrel release for changing the barrel, but it looks kind of PKM-ish for where the rounds are going in, which leads to the next part. So that weird box on the bottom, in addition to supposed to being able to hold 500 rounds, which it absolutely will not. That is, if that's a mid-range, if that's an intermediate caliber machine gun, That's going to hold a maximum of maybe 200. If it is a full power, like 7.62 sort of machine gun, then that's going to hold maybe 100. Not 500. Definitely not 500, especially on disintegrating link. Anyways, you may notice that it kind of looks weird how like the bullets are just sort of like coming out on their belt at that weird angle. And you're not wrong. And that's because what the artist did here was they took a PKM metal box magazine, sci-fi'd it up a little bit, put it on its side and put it on the bottom, and then had the bullets coming out. So if you look at it, you can see on the side of it, there's those little clips. That's where it would normally be clipping into the machine gun. And then that odd looking hole on the side that looks like it should have bullets coming out of it, that is in fact where the bullets would be coming out of it. Like that's where the belt would be coming out to go up. And so finally pushing back from there, I'm not sure what the main body of the buttstock is supposed to be from, but the very, very back of it is from an M60. So this is 3 machine guns that have been sort of smashed together very poorly, and then had a water cooling thing attached to the front. And not only does this like not match up with like the lore that's being presented in the write-up for this weapon, it's just awful. Like this is literally like the mashup. It's so bad. None of this would work. It's got 2 bipods, and that water cooling system, that's not cooling anything. Like that is an air-cooled barrel with a little like doodad attached to the bottom that would only cool that part of it. And like there are ways, like you can put like a sleeve over the barrel and have liquid rotating or going through it, like it's done on some anti-aircraft vehicles in the real world. So like it's very doable, but like that's not it. And none of this weapon is. I've been talking about this for over 5 minutes now. That's how terrible this thing is and how much it doesn't match its own lore. It's okay though. It's all good. So we're going to be doing melee weapons next. I'm going to look at all the melee weapons and stuff like that, and those worked. Those were good. Like thumbs up. Awesome. And this is where I get to give a shout out. Yeah, so thank you very much to my basic divers, my advanced divers, to the coffee divers, all the people who are helping support POC Gamer, helping make Lore Diver a thing that works and a thing that is happening. And a very specific shout out to our master diver, Nye, who is a $15 subscriber over on Patreon. Thank you very much for your support. It is very appreciated. And yeah, I will see you all later. And I'm going to be hopefully making more videos like this and doing a little bit of a better job because I am learning on the fly with Canva right now. Take care, stay safe, stay hydrated.